Hello everyone. Welcome back to another Commander review for Magic the Gathering. And I don't know why you can't see my face right now, but I'm sure it's because there's something cool blocking it. Something way cooler and prettier than my face. It is literally one of my most favorite cards ever. Ever. This is the last card of the two cards in the Stronghold set. It is the one, it is the only Sliver Queen. And man, do I love slivers. This will be a little bit of a longer video, I imagine, because I just have a lot of history with slivers, so I'm going to talk about slivers. I love slivers. I know there's probably a lot of people that don't like slivers, but when I first started playing Magic the Gathering, I don't even remember when exactly I got like my first slivers, but I remember learning how to play the game, learning how to build decks, and really just played 60 card format, but I played very casual, just build your deck with whatever cards you had, and just sit around the table with your friends and play. And when I first started playing the game, my dad also started playing the game literally around the same time as me. I was in middle school, but I was learning from high schoolers how to play the game. My dad had a friend who played the game, and so like we coincidentally were learning how to play together. And I had an uncle and a cousin who played as well, father and son. And so it was really cool growing up because I would go to family gatherings, and this cousin and I would play Magic, and I'd play with my other cousin as well. We'd have a lot of fun, and he had this sliver deck, or I had. I don't even remember exactly all the details. Oh, I'd have to ask around and find out from my family. But I love slivers. I really love slivers. I want to say that with the help of my cousin, we built a sliver deck for me. He had a lot of generic sliver cards that like he wasn't using, and I really liked the concept of slivers because I think he had a deck, if I remember correctly, and I just really liked it. And so it was also around the time of time shift, time... Oh goodness, what was that? What was that set called? Time Spiral. That's what it was. Time Spiral. Time Spiral was really coming out around then, and so like I built a sliver deck. Long story short, I built a sliver deck, 60 card, and I really liked it. It was cool. It was weird. It did this weird, unique thing of a hive mind where all the slivers help each other out, and they make each other bigger and scarier and stronger. And I built this sliver deck, and one of the very first sliver lords I ever got was the Sliver Legion. I remember trading a Herald of Ishlan, something like that. I'm going to look this one up too, just because I want to be accurate. Herald... Oops. Herald of Lishrak, that's what it was. I had a Herald of Lishrak, and my cousin really wanted it, and so we traded. I think I got like a 13/13 monster from it, and maybe the Sliver Legion. I don't remember, but somehow I got the Sliver Legion from him, and I had this Herald of Lishrak. That's like the memory I have. It's probably wrong, but I got a Sliver Legion, and that was like the focus of my deck. It was the commander of my deck, you could say. But it was 60 card back then. And I loved the deck so much. And it was 60 card, and all of my friends hated it. And I loved it so much, and it became who I am as a Magic player. If you ask anyone in my play group what my favorite deck is, they will tell you that it is the Sliver deck. It has been a part of me since the beginning. My first couple decks I ever played were a lot of Rakdos colored decks. There was a lot of madness in there. There was a lot of crazy discard, destroying stuff. But the moment that I came in contact with slivers and what they could do, I fell in love with slivers. And that's been my favorite go-to deck for as long as I can remember playing this game. And years went by. They did the Sliver premium deck that had the Sliver Overlord. I remember buying that. I still have some of the cards from that pre-con deck. My favorite spinner D20 that I use to play Magic with to this day is the Sliver die that comes from that premium deck. A couple more years went by, and I went to my local card store, my LGS, and there it was. Sliver Queen. The last Sliver Lord that I had not owned yet, and it was $45 back then. $45 back then. That was many years ago. And so I made the biggest and best investment of my life. That's not true. That's not true. It's still a card game. It's still a piece of cardboard. I totally acknowledge that. But I have had so much fun playing with the Sliver Queen. Not too long after buying the Sliver Queen, maybe a few more years after that, I was introduced to the Commander format and playing Commander and building around Commander. And it just fits so perfectly because I had already started playing this 60-card Sliver deck in the mindset of Commander and wanting to get these powerful legendary slivers in play to really traumatize my friends at the table, but also to really have a fun, good time, you know? I loved this deck so much, and it was one of the first decks I converted into Commander once I learned the format and I fell in love with the format. And of course, I've gotten every other Sliver Lord since then, up to date, that I'm aware of, and I'm going to continue to do that. If for some reason I ever fell out of playing Magic, like investing into Magic and stuff like I do today, I would definitely still keep the Sliver deck above any other deck that I own. Probably this and my Sword of deck. Sword of, where I have all currently 10 pieces of the Sword of dual colored cards. I'm going to be getting the new one that's coming out in Outlaws of Thunder Junction as well. But any new slivers that come out, I'm also going to get, because those are my favorite cards of the entire game. So, without further ado, I will stop yakking about my love for slivers. If you love slivers, make sure to like this video. If you hate slivers, make sure to dislike this video, because I need to know how many of you hate slivers, and I need to know how many of you love slivers, like me. Anyway, I do love Sliver Queen. This is a card. This is the card that I bought years and years ago for $45. Much more expensive now. I'm not too worried about the value, other than when I want to say, like, oh yeah, I have a very expensive deck. It's got Sliver Queen in it, amongst all the other slivers. But I still play with this card. I love it to death. It's a great card. And let's talk about Sliver Queen. Sliver Queen is a legendary sliver. It is a 7/7. It costs Wooburg, or white, blue, black, red, and green. And it has one ability, and one ability only. For 2 colorless mana, you can create a 1/1 colorless sliver creature token. And there are some crazy things you can do with that. I do not play with the crazy combos that I don't remember if I have in the slides for you, but there are crazy combos, infinite combos that you can do with the Sliver Queen. I personally don't play with those. I'm going to get my mouse and screen here. There we go. No card rulings for Sliver Queen. But I don't play with the combos just because I'm not a big combo player. I like to have casual fun time. Or I just like to traumatize the board with the horde of slivers. Going right along with that, one of the first slivers that I fell in love with when building the deck was the Gemhide sliver, because it turned all of my slivers into mana dorks, so I could play the big bad slivers faster. So that is why I chose it as the synergizing card for the deck. The iconic, obviously everyone builds this, it's what I have, is the Sliver deck. Now, I put these three up, not in particular order, but Cloud Shredder is just great because it gives haste and flying, which is important for the deck to win, is to give evasion and to give instantaneous usage. My Sliver deck, personally, has a lot of defensive slivers in it, mostly because it has built a big reputation for my play group. So if I ever play with it, I know I need to defend myself. So my Sliver deck has a lot of protections built into it. However, one of the most iconic slivers in my deck is Harmonic Sliver, because I just took advantage of it, blowing up all the enchantments and artifacts of the table, and it made everyone mad. So that's one of the most iconic slivers from my deck. If you wanted to focus more on Sliver Queen and taking advantage of what Sliver Queen can do, you could build a 5-colored token deck that fits specifically around slivers, but you could just build a generic token deck and take advantage of making those tokens, doubling the tokens, drawing cards because of the tokens, and just have a lot of fun with it. And then lastly is, of course, you can do infinites. Now, there are so many different infinite combos out there. This is one that I just like, just looking at EDH Rec. And of course, this is a EDH Rec deck idea right here, is just a generic token commander. Of all the infinite combos you can do with Sliver Queen, this is just one that like I just pulled from some of the cards there. You make a sliver. You're going to sacrifice that sliver to Ashnod's Altar to make 2 mana. With that 2 mana, you're going to make another sliver. And so just from Ashnod's Altar, you have this infinite loop of creating a token and then sacrificing a creature, which works great with Cruel Celebrant, because every time you sack the sliver to make mana, you're draining your opponent's full life, and you're gaining life. And then every time you're making that sliver token, you're also dealing 1 damage to each opponent with War Leader's Call. So it's this crazy infinite loop. There's ways of making infinite mana with it, like Mana Echoes. The list goes on and on and on. But that, unfortunately, is the end of the video. This is Sliver Queen. One of my favorites, if not my absolute favorite. Sliver Legion was the first of the Sliver commanders that I ever got a hold of. This one was the third, but it is the first of the Slivers as far as being released, and so it's got a special place in my heart. I love slivers so much. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about slivers, because I love them. They are my favorite creature type. They are my favorite decks to play, and no matter what happens with Magic the Gathering as a game, if for some reason I ever stopped playing or I stopped investing into it, I would always keep this deck because I love it so much. It is my all-time favorite deck to play with and to have. So Sliver Queen is very powerful, but Sliver Queen, especially because of how popular it is in Commander and how easy it is to make an infinite combo with it, it does cost a lot of money. And I'll even pull that up real quick. At the time of this recording, Sliver Queen is going to roughly cost at near mint. Actually, I'll just do at like good value, you know. It's like $223. I'm referencing off of Card Kingdom right now. That's what I'm looking at right now. So the prices will vary based on like TCG Player and stuff like that. But this card is very expensive now. It's an extremely expensive card. So, you know, I'm always down for like saving your money. Be careful with your money. Don't willy-nilly spend your money. Money is important to pay bills, to, enjoy dinner, going out to like Disneyland or something. I don't know, whatever you want to do, but just be careful. Obviously, money is very finite and very easy to spend on things like Magic the Gathering. So I'm not going to encourage anyone to just go out and buy a Sliver Queen right now. But if you do get a Sliver Queen and you build around it, it'll be a fun time, I'm sure. I'm sure if your play group is fine with it, you could also use a proxy of some sorts as well. So that is going to do it for Sliver Queen, one of my favorite commanders of all time, for my favorite deck of all time. Next video is going to be the set review for both the Sliver Queen and Korvax the Cursed. It'll be a very short video because it's the shortest amount of commanders ever that I've reviewed so far. So stay tuned for that. If you want to see more Magic the Gathering content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell to get notified when more videos come out. Thank you guys for all of your support. Thank you guys for all of your input. I've enjoyed reading your comments. I've enjoyed the discussions we've all been having with these videos. Things that I missed or things that I may have mispronounced. Stuff like that. Let me know what you guys think about maybe talking about like crossover content. I know Wizards and Magic have been doing a lot of that lately with Lord of the Rings, Fallout, Warhammer 40k. Assassin's Creed is coming out later this year by the time of this recording. So much crossover content that they're already doing as a company. But seeing as how I also do a lot of Let's Plays for my channel, that is something I've thought about as well, like maybe Jack and Daxter as Magic cards. If that's something you guys are interested in hearing about and talking about, let me know in the comments below, because I'd love to make content like that. I love this game, and I love being able to share my passion of Magic with you guys. And I really appreciate all your support in receiving that, the content I'm making for you. So with that said, I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you guys at the set review for Stronghold. And as always, I'll see you in the next one, which I've already said. But yeah, bye!